Welcome one and all to the Minish cast. This is episode 10, and I'm your host, Petter, aka Pendio. The discussion topic in today's episode is Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. And with me today, I've got Matthias, aka Ayano Keiko.
Hello.
And I've got Jordan, aka Libk.
What's up, guys?
So, yeah, we're just going to keep this a pretty open, pretty casual discussion, the three of us, about the most recent, at this point, the most recent Star Wars film that came out in December last year. Kind of celebrating this a little bit with today, well, not the time we're recording it, but the time we're releasing it being May the 4th. And, well, I hope you all know the significance of that. And, and also having this Han Solo film coming out later this month. So it's gonna be good. I hope, anyway. Hey there, this is just Pendio cutting in from the future real quick. Warning for tons of Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi spoilers coming up throughout this segment. If you don't want to get spoiled, simply move on forward to the Master Quiz segment that comes right after this. So yeah, there's your warning. Let's start with, let's start with you, Jordan, because I'm mostly curious about your just general opinion on The Last Jedi. What did you think of it?
I very, very much enjoyed it. I thought it was a really nice change from what we usually get.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I know some people have some issues with some of it, and I do have some of my own issues, but I thought it was overall a good movie, and I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
And specifically, it does have one of my favorite scenes in Star Wars.
Would you care to share it?
One of my favorite scenes in Star Wars comes from 8. It's the scene where the ship hyperspaces through the First Order fleet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a very powerful scene, I think. And just the way everything goes silent all of a sudden, like when that happens.
Yeah.
Just
That like blew my mind when I saw it, honestly.
Yeah, that scene, wow.
It was insane. I remember the theater going silent itself, and I was just... Everyone was just like, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely up there as a top Star Wars moment, for sure. So, what about you, Matthias? Did you have any, or like, just your general opinions on the film to kick off?
I don't like it. There's some things that I did like about the film, but overall I just couldn't. There's just a lot that I didn't enjoy about it.
That's fair. I mean,
yeah.
I know that this film is like one of the most, like, one of the films where the fan base is the most divided in like almost and ever, you know.
It's not I don't think it's the worst one that's ever made. Like, I still think Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones are below it, but
right.
I think it was just mostly a letdown for me.
You had expected something different, maybe?
Yeah,
or?
Because like there was just a lot in the Force Awakens that was set up that I feel like they did poorly in this one.
Such as? Do you have any examples for that?
Snoke.
Yeah.
I really did not like how they did Snoke in that movie.
Dude. Well, like, Snoke, when he was introduced in Episode 7, I was sure he was gonna be like this, like, you know, they paint him up as this emperor-esque character and makes it feel as if though he's most likely gonna die in the last film of the trilogy. But when they killed him off in this one, I don't even, like, man, that I was obviously very, very surprised. I've heard some people weren't very surprised by it, but I was very surprised by it, and I thought it was an awesome thing to do just to keep it unpredictable, at least, you know, to me.
Yeah.
I was both surprised and not surprised by it. It got to a certain point in the movie where I knew it was going to happen. I could just... In fact, the point I knew it was going to happen was when they're going up the elevator to go to Snoke. At that point, I knew he was going to turn on Snoke. There was no doubt in my mind. I didn't know exactly how it was going to happen, and I didn't think it was going to be so easy. I expected an actual fight from it,
Yeah.
but we didn't get that.
What gave it away to you in the elevator scene?
What gave it away to me when she was saying that, when Rey said that she could see into his future and saw a moment where, he would help her and would turn. He said he saw a moment where she would turn and help him. And I was like, oh, well, that's gonna be Snoke dying.
What I
Well-
guess what upset me the most was like, it just he like fooled both of them with like Jedi mind tricks from like across the galaxy, like
Yeah.
both of them, and then he couldn't like. He was like so like powerful with the Force, but he couldn't realize that he was messing with the lightsaber right next to him.
Yeah.
Like that just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that side of it. Absolutely. But like, despite that though, like overall I thought that was a very, very cool moment. Just because I was so surprised by it, and
I thought it was cool
Yeah.
just because one of the things I did like about the movie was what they did with Kylo, and that like kind of was like the climax of him like becoming his own person instead
Yeah.
of following Snoke.
absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I was also a big fan of what they did with Kylo Ren in Episode 8, because after I had seen Episode 7, I wasn't that impressed or satisfied or whatever with the Kylo Ren character after only Episode 7. I thought it was kind of bland, kind of whiny, kind of uninteresting generally. But after this one, I'm a big fan of the character. I thought he definitely developed in the, in a very good way during Last Jedi. And yeah, I guess I'll share too a little very briefly, and unless it hasn't been made clear, I was also a big fan of The Last Jedi, just like Jordan. Obviously, I mean, it wasn't. I don't know, like, what film I'd consider a perfect film. I think there's always something in everything I see that's, that could have possibly been done differently, better somehow. But overall, I mean, I was very happy with it, and a big step up from Episode 7 in my opinion. I didn't dislike Episode 7, but I thought this one was still a whole lot better. That's what I thought anyway.
Yeah,
So-
I understand that.
Yeah. Actually, what did you guys think about this compared to Episode 7? Just like generally.
I think there were more moments that I liked in this one compared to 7. More moments that I liked than there. I don't know. There were really impactful moments in 8 that just blew my mind, and I liked way more than what most of 7 had to offer.
Yeah.
I personally I was pleasantly surprised when I first saw 7, because I didn't really have any expectations before going into it, because I didn't know how Disney was gonna handle the series, and then like I just felt like with 7 they were like too safe, but with 8 I feel like they were too like experimental.
I see what you mean with that. I definitely see what you mean, and I agree with that point on Episode 7 for sure. I don't think they went too out. They went too crazy with Episode 8. They definitely went like ways that I hadn't expected, but that's part of what I really enjoyed with that film. So I don't have any complaints about that personally. Also, one thing, like when I heard that J.J. Abrams, sorry, I always say Abrahams, like as if it's like a man. When J.J. Abrams wouldn't be directing Episode 8, when I heard about that, I was a little bit disappointed because, I don't know, I like him as a director. I think he usually does well with the films he directs, and so I guess that kind of made me like a little bit less excited for Episode 8, because I honestly wasn't that excited for it, like waiting for it when it was coming out. But man, did it blow me away, and I'm very, very happy with Rian Johnson's directing. So, no complaints there.
Yeah, I think the directing was done well for it. There were some questionable choices as far as like character motivations go. If that makes sense to you.
Do you have any more concrete examples?
Finn's continual. I would have expected Finn to stay with the rebellion there. Him immediately trying to leave to find Rey. Just
But he didn't leave to find Rey.
No, he was trying to find Rey, wasn't he?
No, he left because he wanted to take the beacon away from the battle, so that when Rey came back, she wouldn't come into the battle, but come to a safe zone.
Even doing that is way too selfish, I think, for Finn's character.
It's not selfish though. He did it for Rey. He didn't do it for himself.
No, okay. I'm getting a different vibe from it.
Okay.
Then, because I'm seeing it as he did it for himself to keep Rey alive, because he's got his thing for Rey.
Right. Now we come into shipping. Does he have a thing for Rey? I don't know. Maybe he does.
I think he does.
I mean, it's possible. I'm not denying it, but I don't want to like assume too much. I don't know.
I don't know. So it doesn't seem. Again, the way that I read it, like the way that I read the character leaving, I read it as Finn doing it for selfish reasons.
I feel like the film is kind of like part of it anyway is kind of implying that, because when Rose finds him when he's trying to escape in the
the thing is,
pod.
I didn't get that. I did not get that feeling about Finn from the first movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't think of Finn as a selfish character from the first movie.
Well, but I didn't get that from this movie either, though. I mean, I understand that you did.
We're reading the character differently.
Yeah. What did you think about that whole part, Matthias? About Finn leaving?
That one didn't really like catch my attention that much. I didn't see it like as a selfish act.
Yeah, I didn't really either, but I can understand why some
well,
people
I even saw him trying to sacrifice himself to stop the ram as selfish.
Really?
It came across as him wanting to look like the hero to me.
Okay. Well, I mean,
which then goes against. Yeah, you see where I'm coming from now.
I understand your side of it, but I don't agree with it.
You don't have to agree. You don't have to agree at all.
Yeah, no.
That's just how I read it.
I understand. Yeah, because the way I read that part was that he having been part of the First Order, he knows what its weapons are. He knows how powerful and deadly they are. So he wanted to save everybody else from what he knew would probably kill everybody else, you know. And that was the only way he knew how to. That's how I saw it anyway.
I guess I get that.
But I mean, I like that there's definitely like a lot of different ways to interpret this, and I think that's another thing I like about movies, being able to view things in different ways and understand things differently. I like that. So let's talk a little bit more about the story, like the characters, the script, and whatnot. I feel like this film, in a way, had 4 or 4.5 or 5, I guess, parts in a way, with 3 of them taking place simultaneously during the first part of the film, being one of them being Rey and Luke on the island, one of them being Poe and Holdo and on the ship and all that whole part, and the third being Finn and Rose when they're trying to find the encryptor or whatever, and that whole part on the casino place. Like those, to me anyway, were 3 very distinct parallel stories that went on for the first part of the film. And honestly, like, to me, the Finn and Rose part and the Poe and Holdo part, those 2 were probably the 2 weakest parts of the entire film, in my opinion. They had enjoyable aspects for sure, but I thought those 2 bits were probably the parts that I enjoyed the least in the film. I had like every second of the the Rey and Luke part I enjoyed thoroughly, so I had no complaints about that. But the other two parts during the first bit of the film, I wasn't as big a fan of. So what did you guys think about, I guess, the early part, like those three parallel bits of the story?
I didn't like any of them.
Oh, really?
Because I personally didn't like what they did with Luke's character. Because, like, I just... When you think of Luke, like, you don't think of him being like that.
Yeah, you don't,
Like
but
how he was the entire time.
but
I
it's
guess it
explained,
kind of
you
makes
know?
sense, yeah, because,
Yeah.
like, of what he, like, did with Kylo.
yeah.
I just...
Even even Mark Hamill didn't like Luke's character in that movie. I think that has something to say for itself.
Yeah, yeah, and I respect that, and especially if he didn't. But if I'm gonna be like super honest, like Luke's character in Episode 4, 5, and 6, it wasn't that special. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
He was mostly an observer in Episode 4, and in Episode 5 and 6, I mean, I guess he grew as a character, absolutely, but still, he didn't have that much of a personality, I thought, in those films. So with this film, at least, he was able to touch me on a very emotional level with his character in this film. So that, to me, was a huge step up from his previous performances as Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, I guess I get that.
And I was a big fan. Even though perhaps Mark Hamill wasn't a big fan of it, I was definitely a big fan of what they did with Luke.
I guess I get that. I think my thoughts on Luke are a little weird. While it wasn't necessarily Mark Hamill's Luke, I don't think it was a bad way for Luke's character to have evolved.
Yeah.
I can agree there. It very much seemed like a real choice for that kind of character to come to.
Yeah, especially since Luke was never part of any Jedi group, in his life.
Right.
He knew Obi-Wan and he knew Yoda, but even those two characters, he only knew kind of briefly,
Right.
So for the most part, he was like the only Jedi around. No Jedi Order or anything like that.
Right. And while I don't agree with the way he saw things, I don't know. It is what it is. It was a direction that I could see that character going to, even though I don't agree with it.
Right. Yeah, and like to me, like when obviously, like Episode 8 or Episode 7 ends with Rey holding out the lightsaber to Luke, and the camera's spinning and everything's like whoa, the music, and then end credits. So you're kind of expecting something super like epic or something like super nice, awesome, something cool at the beginning of The Last Jedi, but turns out Luke's just throwing the lightsaber over his shoulder and walks away like a grumpy old man. That was obviously a surprise, I think, to most people watching.
It was, and when I went on the opening weekend. I remember everyone laughing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it was a surprise, and it was some nice humor.
Yeah.
What I will say is it set the tone very well for
Absolutely.
what was about to happen.
Definitely. And to me, like when I first saw it the first time and I saw Luke acting the way he did, I obviously I didn't understand why, because we hadn't been shown why yet, and I guess because I didn't know why, I felt a little bit disappointed at first, with the character being not quite as how I maybe would have wanted him to, but as the story was went on, and we got these flashbacks to the past where he was with Kylo Ren, his new personality, or whatever you want to call it, it grew on me, and I understood why, and I thought it made sense.
Right.
My least favorite thing about how they did Luke's character was just how pathetically he died.
I don't think that was that I don't think that was pathetic.
That's something we had never seen before. I liked how they handled that, actually. It was something new that we had never gotten to see before as like a force power. I think his death was fine.
I just didn't like how I thought he was just being a badass and actually fighting and helping them out, but he was actually just somewhere else being a holograph. I personally didn't like it at all.
I can understand that.
He did save them. I mean, he did buy them enough time to escape. So, he maybe he wouldn't have had time to make it there physically, to save them all. So maybe that was what like the only thing he could have done. I mean, I'd assume so anyway. And doing that force power, making himself look as if though he's actually there.
Honestly, thought it would have just been cooler if he like actually went there and then just got fucking blasted. Like I would have been more satisfied.
That would have been
his
that
death.
that would have been pathetic. That would have been pathetic. Like, because the way he did this, he showed off a brand new force move, which was pretty awesome from that long a distance, appearing as if though he's actually there, and it makes sense for such a powerful move to really take a toll on you.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I thought it was good, and I thought it was a nice ending to the film. It wasn't sad, and I think and they even mention it like in dialogue in the film. If it's Princess Leia or if it's Rey, one of them says that it was a peaceful death or something, like not in a sad way, and that's exactly how I felt. So I thought that was well made.
I can agree with that. It's the death that he kind of wanted, but unfortunately there's another Jedi, so it's not the death that he wanted.
Right. Well, but didn't he like toward the end kind of start agreeing with Rey though? Like, I mean, he did start teaching her some things, and
I think towards the end he was just like, well, if you're gonna do this anyway, I might as well teach you some things.
Right. Yeah.
I think Yoda helped him see some things, and that's nice, but
yeah, man. Oh, I loved seeing Yoda, especially puppet Yoda. Wow, I was so happy.
Getting to see the puppet again was really nice.
Yeah.
It was funny. My friends after the movie, they're like, "Why did Yoda look so weird?" And I was like, "I think they used like a actual puppet like version of him instead of a CGI one."
Yeah. Yeah, man, that was nice, and I really liked that scene with him. He was really in character too. Like, man, Yoda is awesome. Actually, yeah, something I was gonna say earlier when we were talking about Luke and Kylo Ren. Is that when we first hear about that, or when we first see that flashback, it's when Kylo Ren is telling Rey about it. And in that flashback, Luke is painted much more like an evil guy somehow. It looks like as if he's actually attacking Kylo Ren without any reason to, I guess. And that makes us understand Kylo Ren's perspective of it a lot better. And later on, we see the flashback again, but we see it from Luke's perspective. And then we actually get like how he was there. He was really torn, thinking about what he was going to do, if he was actually going to do it. And in that version of it, we also see Kylo Ren turning on his lightsaber first. So I don't know. It's all I like those kinds of things where it's really up to interpretation for the viewer to kind of like know which version to believe, because I feel like I don't know. I mean, we can't blindly trust Luke's just because he's the good guy.
This is true. I can agree with that.
It could have been Kylo Ren's version to be more accurate. I mean, I don't know. It's just interesting to me because there's like two versions of the same story.
Yeah.
Right.
So how about those other two of the early arcs? Let's talk a little bit about Poe and Holdo on the ship. What did you think about that? After Leia came in the coma, and Holdo took charge.
I hated how like there was no communication, and then a bunch of just dumb stuff happened because like Poe was just trying to like figure out a way to like make a plan or something because he thought everyone else wasn't just sitting around waiting to die. But they actually had a plan. Like I feel like if they just were straight up about it, like Poe wouldn't have like ruined everything.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
It was so annoying to watch that.
Yeah.
Especially when they revealed it, I was like, "Are you serious? Why didn't you just say that in the beginning?"
Right.
Like I feel like half this movie would have been done.
Right.
Especially that awful like casino subplot.
Let's not talk about the casino planet.
Let's talk about the casino a little bit later. Let's talk about this for now.
The casino
So,
planet.
so I definitely agree with you there, Matthias, about like, yeah, Holdo could have saved everyone a whole lot of problems if she had just been upfront about her plan from the beginning. But at the same time, like, and that's exactly how I felt like immediately after having watched the film. But then I started thinking a little bit about it, and I rewatched the film as well, and I came to kind of see a realism about it in a way.
Get why it's like that. I just feel like it doesn't make sense because like they're the last fleet of the Resistance. I feel like they needed to be like open and honest with each other. Like
Absolutely, yeah, I agree. They
people
should
are gonna
have.
like go different ways, and then you're like you have less people than you did in the beginning.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree with that. But it's also the fact that this was Holdo's probably first time having this kind of responsibility, this highest status as a leader, and she obviously wasn't as experienced having that
I feel
role
like
as Admiral
she should have
Leia.
known that Poe would try something.
But she didn't know
always
Poe.
tries something.
Well, we'd never seen Holdo before in the films, and so
Yeah.
we can't know she knew Poe, and she knew that she knew how Poe was exactly.
But
And
didn't she like know like he was a troublemaker or something at the beginning because she like
right,
tried to like
I guess she did.
stop him or something? I don't remember exactly.
I think she did, or yeah, maybe it's possible. But I was also because characters are flawed, and when
Yeah.
characters are flawed, they're made more realistic, and because if a character is just like completely makes no mistakes or nothing like that, they become boring. So that's something that's one of the things that I come to kind of appreciate with Holdo, that
Yeah.
she wasn't the perfect leader. She didn't understand that she should have shared her plan with everyone. In the end, she did the ultimate sacrifice and saved everyone. But
After you say it, it makes sense because like the reason I don't like Rey as a character, she's too Mary Sue like.
Yeah. I just get that.
oh man, I don't like Mary Sue characters, but there's still something about Rey that I like anyway. I see what you mean about that though, and I've heard people complaining about it as well, like others, and I see it. But I like her a lot anyway. I guess because there's still mystery surrounding her.
Are there still mysteries around her though?
Well, at first, like after I'd seen the film the first time, immediately like I was like, okay, there's no mysteries left. But then I started thinking like, why should we trust Kylo Ren?
Has Kylo Ren given us a reason not to trust him?
Well, he tried to kill Luke Skywalker. He's done bad things.
I don't think him attempting. Nah. I don't think he did bad things for doing bad. Out of doing bad things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I don't know. Yeah.
Honestly, like I saw a lot of people have a problem with like how like her backstory was revealed by Kylo. Like people were like in denial and saying like, oh, maybe Kylo's like just lying. But I feel like that would make her less Mary Sue like if she was actually like nothing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Or
I think that makes her
possibly
more of
anyway.
a character if she like just like people were let down by it, and I was like, that's actually like not even something I thought of. Like I thought she would be like a child of this like great person or like.
Yeah, that's the
someone
thing. Like all these theories were
Yeah.
going around before the film came out.
Yeah.
Like, is she a Skywalker? Is she a Kenobi? Is she a whatever?
Yeah.
Like
No,
I
your
was
parents
so
were just
annoyed
drug
with all of
dealers.
those. Yeah, it's like
They just wanted their fix.
Your mom's
Yeah.
a dick.
'Cause I don't know. It's like if she would be like the child of one of those well-known characters, I would have been very disappointed because
Yeah.
it would have just been too so unrealistic in a way. Like, why did all of the major characters in this universe happen to be related? That doesn't make much sense. So I think if she actually is what Kylo Ren said she is, I'm happy with that. However, I'm not like completely trusting it yet.
Yeah. I guess we'll see in the next film.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. December next year. So, okay, so let's move on to the casino. Yeah.
No.
Not the casino.
So, let's start a little bit before the casino. Let's start when, let's talk a little bit about Rose. What did you think about Rose?
Meh. So I guess I do like Rose as a character. Kinda. I don't know. She's not a bad character.
I agree. Well, yeah. What did you think, Matthias?
I didn't like her just 'cause like how she like kind of forced interactions between other characters like Finn, and I don't know. I feel like really conflicted with her 'cause I don't hate her.
You don't
as
hate her?
much. I don't hate her as much as like most people do.
Right.
'Cause I know
Or
a lot of people.
has
that
she
just, like,
gotten
hate that
a lot of
character.
hate? I haven't seen any, but I guess I
All
haven't.
my friends hate that character. They feel
Oh.
like she's like entirely pointless and shouldn't have been in the movie at all.
Oh.
But I don't know.
Hmm.
I guess in this film I didn't like her character just 'cause of what she caused, I guess. Like
I guess I see
the
that.
weird love triangle between like Finn and Ray and her, like that weird thing. I didn't
Well,
like
well, Here we go, assuming that there is something between Ray and Finn.
I feel like it's been implied multiple times between
It's been
7 and 8.
implied too much that
Has it though?
I-
Like, they're just
yes.
two characters of the opposite gender. That's the only implication I've seen, and that's not enough for me to go.
I don't know if I'm imagining this or not, but I remember scenes where they just like are giving each other like longing glares, like while like one of them's not looking.
Maybe.
I remember
Yeah.
those. I don't know if I'm misremembering, but I remember like maybe I remember a scene like that in like 7
Right.
at least.
I mean, it's possible. It's possible, but yeah.
So I feel like there is like something there.
Possibly. I mean, I'm not denying anything because I don't know, but I personally haven't picked up on anything like that. But for me, I thought Rose seemed a bit bland at first, like early on, but she did grow on me like throughout the film, especially like later on.
I actually didn't mind her at first, and then started like becoming more mad later on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, early on I do agree that she was fine. But their thing seemed kind of forced.
Yeah, especially that scene like after like she like saved him from doing that suicide bomb. It was just so cheesy and awkward.
I liked her line there though, like we have to fight for what we love or something like that, or to
Pat,
protect whatever she said. I thought it made sense,
it was
and
corny though.
yeah, a little bit, but you know what the hell? This is a Star Wars film, you know. So the casino, I actually didn't mind it a lot the first time I saw the film.
Nope, I hated it. Both times I've seen it.
Tell me why.
It seemed super unnecessary. It seemed unnecessary to even go to that planet. It would have made more sense for me for them to find someone elsewhere.
But that was their only lead though. Their only lead was to go there.
Yeah, it was.
Well, what I'm saying is the planet didn't fit the character,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
I think it could. There's a lot of rich people on that planet, so a guy like him would be, taking advantage of that. I think that makes a lot of sense, personally.
I guess.
My major problem with that entire part was it pretty much was like the entire section where like everything was pointless because they didn't need to be there in the first place. They got a guy that was gonna backstab him in the end anyways.
Oh, we
And-
couldn't know that at the time. and
Yeah,
neither
but
could
like
they.
everything about that part like just ended up being pointless.
Yeah, but it was entertaining
Yeah.
to some extent. Well, I personally, I mean, I didn't dislike it. I did not dislike it. I didn't like it as much as the other parts. I mean, that part might have even been my least favorite part of the film, but I still liked it. And one part that I especially liked about that part was when they were escaping, like when they were flying from that planet with the Codebreaker, and he was showing them that the previous owner of this ship had been selling ships and weapons and stuff both to the rebellion and to the First Order.
I thought
and it's
that
like
was interesting.
it was really I thought so too. Very interesting that
Because
it's not all that black and white.
Weird moral
Yeah.
statement. My least favorite moral statement in that though was like the whole like animal abuse thing. I was like, why is this in here?
Why is it necessary?
Yeah.
Why, like...
Like, why did they
and
have to
that's-
make a statement on animal abuse?
That's what I don't like about that planet. There are too many
Yeah.
statements there, they weren't even just making a statement about animal abuse. The whole thing where he talks about, the weapons being sold to both sides, that's in its own way a statement that...
Yeah. I didn't mind that one though. Like that one made sense, but the
I guess
animal
I
thing
didn't
didn't make sense
mind
to
it
me.
as much, but the casino planet seemed to me served to be a political statement from Disney.
Oh, I didn't see it that way. Actually, I didn't really pick up on
That's what I saw.
on
as,
those.
And that's why I didn't like it.
That's
And it's
fair.
not that I want to necessarily keep politics out of movies, it's that I don't want those politics in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars has its own politics.
Yeah, yeah.
And we already learned that like too much politics in Star Wars is a bad thing.
Oh, absolutely. From
Look at
Phantom
Attack
Menace.
of the Clones.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait. Is Attack of the Clone worse than Phantom Menace?
Yes.
I feel like it is. There was like way too much political stuff in there.
Yeah.
Like Phantom Menace.
Attack of the Clones is
I've-
way worse than Phantom.
I feel like Phantom Menace had a redeemable story.
Right.
It just wasn't executed well.
Phantom Menace has a story that doesn't matter.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does not matter at all, but I
But-
felt like it
But
works.
Phantom Menace also has one of my favorite scenes in Star Wars.
Which is that?
That would be the lightsaber fight with Darth Maul.
Yeah,
That
that
one
That
was
is
a
one
really
of
good
the
scene.
best scenes in all of Star Wars.
That
I
is
feel
a
like
great
it's
fighting
one
scene.
of the best choreographed lightsaber fights.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, and we have Liam Neeson in that too, so that's a big.
Yeah,
that's a
Liam
good
Neeson's
thing.
always fun.
Moving on in the story, those were the first like 3 simultaneous parts, pretty much, and then I guess we have this small part before the finale, kind of where with I guess we kind of talked about it already at the beginning of this, but with Rey and Kylo Ren in the throne room with Snoke. I guess we kind of covered that part already.
I did enjoy the whole Rey and Kylo Ren subplot thingy. I thought it was interesting.
Absolutely, yeah.
That was done pretty well.
And also, it's like it's revealed during that scene, right, that it's been Snoke that's been connecting these 2 characters through the Force throughout the film.
Yes.
Yeah.
But at the end, when they're flying away in the Millennium Falcon from the planet after having escaped the First Order on the salty planet, they're connected that way again. Rey's looking down through from the ship, and
I
she
didn't
sees
realize that.
they're connected there again, but that's after Snoke's death. So I wonder how they were connected that time.
Maybe they like willingly did it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were that powerful to do it, but maybe they did.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else it would be, because it seems like the 2 of them are basically the only Force users left.
Yeah, except Leo.
Right. Yeah, but we also really don't know her, like, how powerful she is with the Force.
Well, wait, no, that's not true, though.
Hmm?
They aren't the only Force users left.
Who else?
Who else?
Do you remember at the end of the movie?
Oh yeah.
Oh, right.
That
But
one
like,
was
yeah.
weird. I don't know why that was there.
Yeah.
It makes them not the only Force users left.
I guess maybe like he's
It's
like
it's
this is all
foreshadowing.
theorizing, but maybe he's like gonna be a part of the next one.
No, he's not. He's a little kid.
I'm
I
sure
don't think
it's
he's
just,
actually gonna matter in the story of Star Wars.
yeah, I kind of doubt it too, but yeah.
Or maybe like what I meant, like maybe they would like find more Force users. That's what I was trying to say.
I
Mm.
think it's kind of like a way to say, well, fuck you, Luke. There were gonna be more Force users anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Man, that little boy though, that like used Force to like grab the broom or whatever at the end. I didn't like the way he was like. I don't know. I didn't like his stare. There was something about the way his facial expression was looking into this guy. It's just like I don't know. To me, he just looked so fake somehow. I don't know. He gave me a bad vibe, and I didn't feel good.
That was an odd scene.
I yeah, but whatever. It was probably that little boy that linked Rey and Kylo Ren at the end. But yeah,
I don't know about that, but okay.
probably not. But so, and then comes the best part of the film, at least in my opinion, the whole thing on Crate. Is that the name of the salt planet?
I believe it's Crate. Yeah.
I feel like that was like my favorite part of the entire film was
Yeah.
like when they were there.
Yeah,
'Cause
same.
before that, I was pretty disinterested in the film, and I was like, "Can this just be over with?" And then like that like whole part, like just like caught my attention.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And also, like, it's not just the things that happen there. Also, the visuals are
Yeah.
stunning. Like with the white and the red and the crystal foxes and like all those things. Like, everything's just so beautiful.
Especially like when they start fighting and like all the red like dust
Yeah.
is just getting blown into the air.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Wow.
But yeah, I think that can like attest to how powerful that part was to me, at least, just because like usually when you're watching a film and you're like disinterested and you're like not enjoying it, like it's hard to like grab your attention again.
Yeah, that's true.
But like that part just like it like made me go from hating it to like feeling like kind of neutral-ish.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really good, really good. And then the Millennium Falcon appears being chased by TIE fighters. Oh, and that part, the first time I watched the film, so I think I cried, or at least got tears in my eyes, twice the first time I watched the film. And the first time was while when the Millennium Falcon was being chased by the TIE fighters through the caves on that planet. And the reason, it sounds super silly when I'm saying it like this, but the reason was because they were playing the same music that they played in a similar scene in Star Wars Episode 4, like the very first Star Wars film, during the scene when they're escaping, chased by TIE fighters in the Millennium Falcon. They play the exact same music, and hearing seeing those visuals on the screen, it just, I don't know, the nostalgia really kicked in for me, and I got super teary-eyed.
I get that.
Man, that was really great for me. And the second time the last time during the first time I watched it that I got tears in my eyes was during the scene with Luke and Leia, when Luke appears in like inside of the shelter area and he talks to Leia.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that was fucking awesome. That was just
It was a really good scene.
so great. But yeah, then Luke appears taking all those shots, and like first time watchers think it's like super badass. I mean, it is super badass, but not in the same way that we think when he does take all those shots from the First Order. And then the duel with Kylo Ren, although it's not technically a duel, or maybe I guess it is. But like this is the only like main Star Wars film, like just looking at the trilogy films, I guess, the only one, or actually maybe the only one all in all, where there are no lightsabers clashing.
Huh.
Throughout the entire film, there was nothing of that in this film, because Luke isn't actually there, and his lightsaber never touches Kylo Ren's, even though he keeps it up.
Huh.
He just dodges Kylo Ren's attacks throughout that whole thing. That's all he does.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting thing, like when you think about it.
It is. You know what's really fun? I thought they had made like a big plot mistake actually in the beginning of the movie. Not beginning, at the end of the movie, when Luke had his blue lightsaber.
Oh yeah.
I was like, but didn't that blow up? You know?
Yeah.
And I was sitting there in the theater confused. That's something that I remember, is I was just sitting there in the theater extremely confused. And I was like, wait, I don't know. I was just trying to figure out the green lightsaber not being present the whole time.
Yeah.
Why the blue lightsaber?
Yeah, I was also a bit caught off guard by that.
When it was finally revealed what had happened, I just kind of laughed. Because I feel like Luke chose the blue lightsaber to fuck with Kylo Ren.
Probably, yeah.
I don't understand why like Kylo didn't pick up on that. Like, I guess maybe like he was just letting his emotions fuel him.
No, I don't think Kylo knew it blew up.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
think Kylo, because Kylo didn't see it happen. Kylo didn't see her pick up the pieces. He probably thought something crazy happened. You know what I mean?
Maybe. My theory was like maybe he was like too like enraged and like emotional that he just like didn't even pay attention.
I guess I can see that.
It's possible.
I think that's very, very plausible for him.
One thing I reacted at, like when Luke appeared, and obviously, you know, we were made to think that he's actually there. I reacted that, oh, okay, he like trimmed his beard and like had a haircut, because he did, or at least, you know, compared to how he looked on the island,
Yeah.
he looked a lot fresher.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I guess that's mostly it for the story. I'm gonna add a little in post later on. Gonna add a little disclaimer for spoilers, obviously, for this. I just realized.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of spoilers.
Yeah, we're going
just
crazy with
given.
this spoiling. I mean, hopefully most of the people will have seen the film by now, but I'm gonna add a little spoiler warning at the beginning of this anyway. So, what did you guys think about the acting overall? I guess we haven't talked about that a lot.
I guess the acting was pretty good overall. I mean, I'm not gonna claim that I'm, some kind of acting expert, to really talk about it. It didn't seem it wasn't bad acting.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Yeah. I mean, I have no complaints at all about the acting, and in fact, as I said, like my favorite acting performance or scene in this whole film, I think one I mentioned earlier was the scene with Luke and Leia. I thought was fantastic.
Yeah.
On just so many levels, like the acting of it from both sides, and also what it meant. I guess it was the last time those two characters saw each other, and also the last we saw of those two actors playing against one another. So maybe that had an effect as well on the emotional
Yeah.
part that I felt on that. But yeah, it was just like on many levels very, very, very good in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah. That's why like I feel like I just can't like I guess shit on the film too much because like it's a very well made film. I just didn't like the plot or like the writing as much.
Right, and that's
But like
totally
the
fair.
acting's really good. Like the effects are really good and the music's really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna get to that visuals
Yeah.
with like special effects, CGI, stuff like that. We already talked a little bit about
Yeah.
like the red and white visuals on Crate. We're all a fan of that.
Seeing that was really, really beautiful.
The
Yeah.
spaceship going in a hyperspace into the other
Oh,
the
that
First
one too.
Order thing.
Right,
That was like
that's
a
also
really well done
very
CGI effect thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wow. Also, like I guess the one major like visual effect that I have complaints about, even though it's not like a huge complaint, but it's the biggest one I have anyway about this film, is Snoke sometimes looks a little bit not real, in my opinion anyway.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
It's like, especially when it's like his face and a real person's face on the screen at the same time. Especially then, like you can tell that his face is CGI. Like usually when it's just him on the screen, it's fine. But when it's like, because and I remember there's one shot where it's like him and Rey like face to face, like very close to each other, and his face, you can clearly tell it's
Yeah, I
it's
remember how
CGI.
distracting that was.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah,
that just looks so bizarre.
yeah, it's a shame. Oh well. At least Andy Serkis is always good in whatever he does. He did a very good voice and stuff for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
He has such a wide range, like with his voice. It's really incredible to me.
Andy Serkis did a good job.
And his acting in general. Yeah. He did a good job. The ones doing his face or whatever, his CGI face, didn't do as good a job. But I mean, who am I to say? I mean, I can't do shit with CGI, so. But still, I mean, yeah, you know.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Comparing that to the CGI faces in War for the Planet of the Apes, for example, where Andy Serkis also plays a CGI character, I think War for the Planet of the Apes is much like it looks a lot better. Like it looks a lot more like it's actually in the world.
I guess I see that.
Just for comparison.
I've never seen those movies, so I don't. I
Like-
can't agree with you.
I get you, yeah. CGI wise, the last film in that trilogy, War for the Planet of the Apes, that came out last year as well. CGI in that one is it's incredible. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anything better than that. Like the motion capture and everything is just off the charts. And the story as well. In my opinion, like this is not related, but it takes 2 seconds to say it. Is that War for the Planet of the Apes was my definite favorite film from last year, out of all the films that I saw last year. So I recommend that one. Back to Last Jedi. Audio. Let's talk a little about the audio, which I guess that includes both music and sound effects and stuff like that.
I mean, the score, like always, was amazing.
Yeah, John Williams
Yeah.
keeps on impressing.
This is apparently his last one.
Is he not going to do episode
That's
9?
really sad.
Yeah, he's not going to.
Oh no, man. I wish he could at least complete the trilogy.
I know. Let me double check if he's gonna do 9. But I'm fairly certain he's not doing 9.
I mean, I know he didn't do Rogue One, which, I mean, I respect that.
Rogue One's score wasn't bad, though.
No, that one was
Rogue
good.
One had a good score.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm guessing he's not doing Solo,
I don't believe so.
but I would love for him to do 9 at the very least. Just, to get it all.
Yeah.
Episode 9 is his last.
Okay. That's a that's a relief. All right.
That is quite a bit of a relief.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely good music. And Star Wars always succeeds, or always, delivers with the music, and starting off, with the main theme and the text rolling, away from you on the screen, and like, man, so iconic. It's always a great moment.
Yeah.
And sound design, this is something I've said like time and time again on this podcast, is that usually, or well, not every time, but a lot of the time, especially if it's something that I've enjoyed, and this is definitely something that I've enjoyed, and also on a sound design level, is that being a sound designer is one of the most ungrateful jobs one can have. Because if you're bad at it, everyone's going to notice, and they're going to give you a bunch of shit for it. But if you're good, it's going to be so good that it's so natural, and no one's going to really pay attention to it. And you're not going to get much recognition for your hard work.
Yeah.
Are we talking about like Foley artists specifically?
I guess not. Well, partially that, but I guess also other like sound design in general, both Foley and like other ways to generate sounds.
Yeah, I guess I see that.
So yeah, what I meant to say with that was that I have no complaints about the Last Jedi sound.
Yeah. I have nothing bad to say about it.
Yeah, it has good sound. It's done by professionals, and you can tell that, and that's not a bad thing.
Since I didn't pay attention that much, I guess, to the sound design, like what you said is true, because like I just don't really think about it when I'm
Exactly.
watching.
Yeah. Because usually you won't think about it, and I think usually, at least in these kinds of films, the sound design is usually good.
Yeah.
And Star Wars obviously has all of these iconic sounds, like this lightsaber, going out, and We didn't have any lightsabers clashing in this one, so we didn't have that sound. But that's also a very recognizable one. Like, ksh, ksh. Yeah. All right. That's all I had like listed for like topics for this discussion. Do you have anything else you want to discuss? Anything else you want to talk about, bring up about the film?
I don't think there's anything else I want to discuss.
I think I talked about everything that I've been thinking about the movie.
Right.
Since
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
it.
I think it's mostly of what we talked about. Obviously, was the story, and I think with a film that's usually the biggest part of it. Yeah, this was fun. So actually, let's to finish this off. How would you guys rate this film on a scale from 1 to 10? With 10 being super good. How would you rate it?
I guess I would rate it, it's 7.
I think I give it a 5 or a 6. I'm still like kind of figuring that out.
Right, somewhere there. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm also not entirely sure, but an 8 or a 9 from me probably, something like that. Maybe an 8. But yeah, I think we can all agree that the second half is where this film truly shines.
That's where like it redeemed it for me.
Yeah. And I understand that definitely. Right. So without further ado, actually before I pass the show over, I will thank you two guys for being with me today on this segment and talking about this film.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I've been excited for this.
Yeah, man. Matthias and I have been talking about doing this for a long time. This was actually, he and I started talking about this, making it as a review debate segment before we like redid the podcast. That's why he and I have complete opposite opinions on this. And then I guess Libk is mostly on my side, but still somewhere in between, I guess. But yeah, that's why we have complete opposite opinions, because that was kind of the point with the review debate. But I think it also makes for a good discussion with having different opinions. You know, good diversity there. So yeah, we finally got to do this.
Yeah.
And eventually, you know, I'm gonna, since I did review episode 7 with Domozilla last year at some point. So eventually, after episode 9 comes out, I'm gonna have to review that one on this podcast as well. Maybe I'll bring you guys back. We'll see about that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's
coming
in the
up.
future. It's like a year and a half until then, a little more. So yeah, with that said, I will pass the show over to Chase with a master quiz.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Master Quiz, where this time we have the reigning champion, Ayano Kaiko.
Hello. That also is not my name anymore.
Oh yeah, I forgot you changed it. What did you decide you were going to change it to?
PancakeSamurai.
Oh, back to the OG name. Alright,
Yep.
the PancakeSamurai is back, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be facing off against... Say your name, come on.
Oh, hi, it's me. Yeah, what up?
Yeah, that's Tristan, who had an entire quiz based around him because, you know, we said, okay, he's going to be leaving the podcast, and he still has been in every single episode, even after not hosting.
Yep, some hiatus this is.
Some hiati were not meant to be.
True that.
Alright, so this time we're going to be doing our questions based on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Don't worry, there's not going to be spoilers for Avengers Infinity War in here. In fact, we're not going to be talking about any movies that have been released in Phase 3 whatsoever. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what's your guys' buzzer sounds going to be?
I have no idea. Damn it.
Think of something.
Mine will just be this.
Clapping.
There. Yes.
General noise that you make with your hands.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Oh no, you brought out the recorder, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
God damn. Okay, you know what? Sure, let's go with it. Alright, so, first question. For those of you who are for some reason new, we're going to be asking 5 questions. First, we're going to be doing this Family Feud style, where they kind of buzz in saying what, if they have the answer, first person to buzz in gets to answer. If they don't answer right, the other person gets to try to steal. If neither of them get it right, then I get the point. And if I get all the points, I can win, but I do not want to win. Don't think that should be an issue this week, though. So, starting off, question 1. What will be the next released MCU movie? I think I heard Pancake first.
It's the next Spider-Man movie.
Tristan.
It's Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Correct.
I forgot about that one.
Everybody seems to forget about Ant-Man.
They just released a
What?
brand new trailer like yesterday.
I still haven't seen it, but I need to.
I still haven't seen Ant-Man, the movie.
You disappoint me. Moving on. Question number 2. What color are Heimdall's eyes? Tristan.
I think they're orange because everybody was suspecting him to be the Soul Stone.
That is correct. They are indeed orange.
Nice.
So, Pancake, you better start being fast because Tristan's already one away from winning. Number 3. What color is the Reality Stone? Okay, Pancake.
Is it purple?
No. That is the Power Gem. Tristan, going to you for the save. What color do you think it is? You got a 1 in 5 shot.
I think it's red.
It is red. Congratulations, Tristan. You already won the Master Quiz.
Comes from the most forgettable movie.
Yeah, that was the point of asking that question. You want to go through the other 3 questions anyway, just for fun?
Mm-hmm. Let's do it.
Sure. Yeah.
We can tie still.
No, we can't because one of those questions is the tiebreaker.
Oh. Let's do it.
4. Wait, have you seen Age of Ultron, Pancake?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. What Disney song does Ultron sing? Tristan?
It's from Pinocchio. I don't know what's it called. What it. It's
Okay, then
actually
I
called,
request
but
that you sing a part for me.
I'm not. No. I'm not gonna sing.
Come on, you're the music man, aren't you?
No. Don't
Okay,
ask
I'm
me to
kidding.
sing on this.
Can you play a part from it on your recorder?
Not likely.
I don't think anyone can play anything on a recorder. I don't know why that instrument exists.
There's some professional players. If you don't get like a cheap dollar store one, then you can.
But everybody gets a
Good.
cheap dollar store one.
That's true.
Okay, well, Tristan, let's see if you can go 5 for 5.
All right.
What online pseudonym does Bruce Banner use in The Incredible Hulk?
Do I have to buzz? Can I just answer it?
It's not like Pancake's making any moves to do it.
I mean,
Do you know Pancake?
It's
No.
Mr. Green.
Yep, it is indeed Mr. Green.
I feel disappointed in myself.
Alright, well, now for the tiebreaker. Which
boy.
member of the Justice League should join the Avengers? And why? I'm specifically going to say the Justice League cast we saw in Justice League.
Okay, I'm gonna say Flash because they already killed off Quicksilver.
It's cruel, man.
I don't know anything about DC.
Just say, like, Superman or something. You gotta know at least one DC hero. Come on.
But I don't like Superman.
But choose Batman.
I don't like Batman either. How about Joker?
He's not
He's
in the
not-
Justice League.
He's not in the Justice
He's
League. but
literally
he's-
in the Injustice League.
I
It's about as
don't.
far from the Justice League as you can get.
I don't like DC.
You disappoint me.
My
Yeah,
thinking-
leave my
thinking is,
podcast.
like-
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Tristan gets the point.
The MCU already has its version of Superman in the form of Vision. It's got Cyborg because Iron Man. It's got Batman because of Captain America. It's got its version of Wonder Woman with Black Widow, sort of. Although Captain Marvel's coming too. But it doesn't have a Flash anymore.
I'd
Since
argue that
Quicksilver died.
actually Captain America is probably more of a Wonder Woman, even though he's a dude.
Probably.
But you know, their origin movies were pretty much very similar.
And I feel like Iron Man's more of Batman because they're both rich men with tools.
Yep,
Sure.
agreed.
But even still, I say Flash because they had a fast runner. Then he died in the same movie he was introduced because the Fox version was far superior.
I mean, you're not wrong. All right. Well, you're not even going to throw a pity answer out there, Pancake?
I will say Aquaman
Excellent. What's your reasoning for Aquaman?
because Aquaman.
I love this argument. Tristan still wins. Congratulations. Tristan, you
So
just
disappointed.
wiped the floor with the master quiz.
Literally,
Swept
I
the
knew
entire
none of
competition.
those answers. I feel like remorse. Can we just redo this?
Alright, same 5 questions, let's just see who's faster.
Now
I already
you know the
forgot.
answers.
I already forgot all of them.
Okay, Pancake, what's the next MCU movie?
How did I forget already?
It comes out in less than
Jesus.
2 months.
It comes out
2 months from now.
Oh yeah, it was Ant-Man
Okay,
and
it comes
Wasp.
out in less
Jesus.
than 2 months.
Wait, is it June or July?
I don't know.
I'm actually surprised Marvel's not releasing any late year movies.
Yeah. I kind of liked when they
Yeah.
did like, they did one in May and then one in July and then one in November spread out throughout the year. I liked that.
Tristan, you're right, it's
Oh.
July.
Okay. I know too much apparently.
And I don't know enough.
And I always confused the reality stone and the space stone. That's why I like took so long on that one question.
I just didn't know what any of the stones' color were.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, until I was looking for random stuff, I didn't remember which Infinity Stone was red.
But now that I think
Well,
about
I mean,
it,
to be fair, it does come from the most forgettable movie.
I literally only remember Loki dying. That's all I remember that. Oh, and I remember that.
And he comes back. So it's not even a like.
Although it's not the
important
best
plot
MCU
point.
scene with a Doctor in it. The best MCU scene with a Doctor in it is the first 5 minutes of, I think it was Jessica Jones episode 7, which is just David Tennant peeing. It's a great way to open an episode.
I'm super excited to watch Jessica Jones because of David Tennant.
It was actually really good.
I haven't watched it yet.
Watch it.
I just finished the first season of Daredevil, so.
I just finished Luke Cage, and I'm trying to decide whether or not it's worth it to watch Iron Fist.
I'm gonna watch it just for the sake of continuity and like the super nerd in me wanting to watch everything.
Yeah, but like out of all of those characters, I care about Iron Fist the least, and apparently it's not
Yeah, me
very
too.
good. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening. You guys probably won't know, you listeners, unless you talk to me, I guess. But you know what? We're just rambling at this point. Let's wrap it up. Thank you guys for listening, and yeah, I guess hopefully see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
I suck.
Only a little.
I'll give you something to suck.
Whoa.
Alright.